You know what you need to do, so why don't you do it? Your excuses are bullshit. Your brain loves comfort. You already know what matters. To get things in life, you're gonna have to be uncomfortable. Life isn't guaranteed. That the anticipation is so much worse than the actual thing. Why does who you become in the process matter? The one thing that you can control is yourself. I want to see you starting right now. Do you want short-term ease or long-term respect? You avoid the task and then you feel better. But does it actually make you better? No. What we do a lot of the times is we will avoid what we know we need to do. You know what you need to do, so why don't you do it? Because it gives you that relief. It gives you relief from having to actually do the thing. Even if the thing isn't that difficult, sometimes our minds can build it up to be difficult. And sometimes we will feel that internal resistance within. A lot of times, it's just the anticipation of doing that. Having that anticipation of having to do something is oftentimes far worse than the actual thing. How many times have you had a job interview or had to go talk to someone about something or something like that, and you go and actually do it, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And you had spent hours before panicking about it. Hours before thinking about it and mulling it over and getting all anxious about it. And then you go and do it and you're like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's because the anticipation was way worse than the actual thing. Our minds have a defense mechanism built up to keep us safe. It's to keep us from doing scary things. Scary things in our mind are things that have a potential to get us hurt. And our brains, our primal mind, is designed to keep us alive and nothing more. But our more logical side of our mind is designed to go out there and do things. That's what we would call more of ourselves, of who we say we are. So the reason we don't do the thing that we need to do is because it seems like such a big task. And we convince ourselves out of it. And one way or another, the con of doing the thing, it's far worse than the pro of the long-term effect of whatever it is. Say it's working out. So say it's cold outside and you don't want to go on a run. So you talk yourself out, even though you set out that you said you were going to do it the day before. You talk yourself out of it. It's because you don't want to have to go through that cold. Your mind subconsciously goes, what if I get hypothermia? Your mind wants you to think that everything is a big, scary event. Because it keeps it safe, it keeps it sedated, and it keeps it comfortable. Your brain loves comfort. Unfortunately, the reality of life hates comfort. To get things in life, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. It's the oldest truth in the book. Discomfort gets us to where we want to go. It is not the requirement in itself, but it's a prerequisite. Crossing the bridge of getting from point A to point B, 99.9% of the times there's discomfort in the way. So we need to learn to accept discomfort. And not only that, but we need to learn to remember that going through that discomfort will get us to where we want to go. And that our brains are trying to silently self-sabotage. Not out of malicious intent. It's out of protection for yourself, your inner being, your homeostasis. But we know that a lot of times our minds build up fantasies of things in our mind that are way too large, way too scary, way too... They blow, our minds blow things out of proportion of how difficult things actually are. And we need to remember that the anticipation is so much worse than the actual thing. And oftentimes, if we can train ourselves to just act without second guessing, without overthinking things, we begin to get things done. We begin to actually be able to do things. Speed is important. That's why people say that speed is so important, because it'll get you to actually do things without overthinking. And if you shorten your reaction time between thing that you said you were going to do and doing the thing, if you get rid of that thought of, am I going to do this? And you just make it, I said I was going to do it, I'm going to do it. If you train yourself that way, you will get so much done. That is a world-changing thing for everybody. Simply training yourself to get things done and not considering if you're going to do it changes everything. That's what people get stuck in, right? Why do people fall off their New Year's resolutions? It's because they're asking themselves before they go and do the thing, should I do this? The answer is yes. Do it. You said you're going to do it. Go do it. Now, obviously, there is nuance. Things come up in life. There's a funeral. There is, I don't know, you have to help someone. It doesn't matter. Things come up in life. So there is nuance of consideration and whatnot, and sometimes things need to be weighed if it's worth doing. But 90% of the time, it's worth doing. 90% of the time, it sucks because that's the reality of life. Is that some of the times you're not going to be able to do the habit that you wanted to do every single day because things come up that are truthfully equal or way more, are more important than the habit. If that wasn't the case, we could just train ourselves to do it, be completely black and white about it and say, hey, I'm going to do that no matter what. But it is the case. We do have things. We do have nuance in life. Life is nuanced. So we need to keep that in consideration. But keeping that in consideration is what causes our downfall. Because that 10% can also start to seep into this hazy area of, is it this nuance of life of I need to do something for someone else, or this is equally important, or is this just me being uncomfortable? Is this just me being, I want to avoid doing this because I'm tired, because I don't feel like it, because I'm so comfortable in bed right now. These blankets feel so comfortable. You already know what matters. Skip the debate inside your own head and do what matters. Start. Take the action. Take the initiative. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for things to suddenly align. Don't wait for things to get exactly as you need them to, exactly as you would like them to. Start. Take the action. Do what needs to get done and do it now, because life isn't guaranteed. And things take a long time, a hell of a lot longer than you think they will. Always. If we don't start to if we don't start to work now, we won't start. We're not going to reach this magical pinnacle state in our lives where we're just like, you know what? Now is the time. That's not how things work. You need to build the consistency now, because it's not about just the actions. It's about who you become in the process. Why does who you become in the process matter? Because who you become in the process builds the identity of someone that takes action in any circumstance. Whether you feel like it or not, whether it's cold outside, whether you have all of these tasks that feel overwhelming. If you build the identity of someone that actually commits to doing something, commits to taking action, no matter what, that I said I was going to do these things, I'm going to do them. When you build that identity, you become unstoppable. You become the person that gets things done no matter what. And the person that gets things done no matter what builds something in their lives. You know who doesn't? People that don't take action. People that don't take action and take the easy way out get nowhere in life. This path isn't for everybody. This path is grueling. This path is hard. This path is not for the weak-minded. I'm not saying that everybody needs to do this, but I'm saying that I know that deep within myself and deep within many other men out there, that there is this fire within, that you know that you are meant for more, that you know that you are meant to conquer, that you know that you want to go out there and do something great in the world. And if that's you, then you need to start taking action today. I don't want to see you taking action tomorrow. I don't want to see you taking action next week only. I want to see you starting right now. You have no excuse to not take action. Your excuses are bullshit. Your excuses are the reason that you are where you are right now. If you would stop listening to your excuses, if you would stop taking the easy road whenever anything difficult comes up, you would be so far ahead. You would be exactly where you want to be, or at least closer. You would be better than you are right now. Stop taking the easy road. Hey, real quick, if you're struggling with porn or lust, I put together a free 10-minute training that breaks down the yin-yang states that help me stop giving into urges and find peace without white-knuckling it. It's no fluff, just the exact framework that made the biggest difference for me. If that sounds helpful, click the link below. It's 100% free, and if not, enjoy the rest of this episode. The next time you're faced with, should I do what I said I was going to do? Even though it's difficult right now. I said I was going to do it, but man, I'm just not feeling it. Do it. Take that path and see how much better you feel about yourself afterwards. See how much, it might only be a small rock that you move. It might only be a small increment. But that's how a wall is built brick by brick. It takes time, which is why you don't want to do it. Because, yeah, if you could move one brick and have an entire wall, you would do it. But because it takes each brick one by one, you may only get 20 bricks in a day. And that takes time and effort and sacrifice. And because of that, you don't want to do it. That's what your mind is, that's what the resistance is. But if you want that, if that's something that you want, you need to do it day after day. Because you don't get anything any other way. That's just the reality of life. When you take the comfortable path, when you take the easy path, doing what is easy rather than what you know you should do, what is in full alignment with your higher self, you slowly erode trust with yourself. And the reason you don't want to erode trust with yourself is because that will create another enemy within your own body. If you can't trust yourself, then you are playing tug of war within yourself. Because you can't know that you will do what you say you will do. You have enough enemies out there. You have enough enemies outside of yourself, not even just people. but fighting the reality of how things are, of what you want to attract in your life. There's enough resistance in the way of that between you and your goals. The one thing that you can control is yourself. So you have to work to control yourself. That self-discipline. Because doing so will give you a far better shot at your goals. Doing so is what gets the successful people to where they are. There's this quote that goes, if you do what is difficult, your life will be easy. But if you do what is easy, your life will be difficult. Now, the reason that is because it's two different currencies. You're trading your long term for your short term, or vice versa. Your short term is one currency and your long term is another. And if you trade, what you're doing is you're trading your long term baseline resistance now for short term pleasure or comfort. You're taking the resistance in the future and you're taking the lack of resistance and applying it to your life now. You're making your life easier now. You're taking the ease from long term and you're taking it and stealing from the future and giving it to yourself now. And what that does is it leaves you with a more difficult life in the future. Because you didn't take the actions that would set you up for an easier life. And when I say an easier life, I don't necessarily mean a comfortable sitting back and sipping martinis kind of life. Now, if that's what you want, that's cool, fine. I'm all for it, whatever. Do what you want. But you want to reduce that resistance because it will help you in the future achieve more of your goals. Because that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the man that has goals. The man that wants to conquer and do something. So if you remove the resistance, all that's left to do is to execute, is to do things. The reason we don't just have all of our goals is because there is resistance, time, and energy in the way, right? And the more successful you become, the easier it is to do those things. The more close to being able to just snap your fingers and achieve what you want to do occurs, the more successful that you get. Do you want short-term ease or long-term respect? From yourself and from others. That's the question. That's the trade that you make every single time. That you take the easy road or you do the difficult thing that will build the brick to get you one step closer to your goals. You can't think that someone's going to come save you. That's often a trap that people fall into, that myself included in the past, that you feel like you're going to be saved by something or someone. Not necessarily as concretely, not necessarily as that you actually, oh, someone's coming to save me, that you're not actually thinking that. But in the back of your mind, you feel like it'll work out. Oh, it'll work out, right? It'll sort itself out, and I'll become a millionaire just because I felt like it, just because I that's just what's going to happen, right? And you have these ideas in the back of your head that that's what's going to happen, but it's not just going to happen by accident. Nobody's ever oopsed their way to the top. Nobody's ever just mistakenly gotten themselves successful. And I'm talking the real success of actually building that character, the identity, actually doing the process that is almost guaranteeing success of achieving goals. I'm not talking about winning the lottery. I'm talking about actually taking the action and achieving what you want to achieve and becoming fulfilled in life. Yeah, winning the lottery would be nice, but it's not fulfilling in the way that achieving your goals is, right? Becoming who you want to be. If you believe that someone's coming to save you, you will spend years trapped in the same cycle of doing nothing and never getting any closer to your goals. You've got to, at some point, wake up and choose to take action and choose to initiate and start something and choose a path in life. Even if it's not perfect, right? Even if you choose a path and it's not exactly, maybe it's not your long-term plan, right? Maybe a few years down the line you decide to pivot. But I guarantee that whatever skills that you have acquired, whatever identity that you have built for yourself, in the hardship of that, it will help you immensely towards the process of a pursuit of another path, of the rest of your life, of another goal, of everything else that you want to accomplish. We do change. We're malleable. We're plastic, right? Things happen, we learn more information, and we pick up other things, and we decide this path isn't right for me. Maybe that's after you achieved the success, or maybe that is before, and you decide, I'm done with this. And there can be a whole argument about becoming a finisher too, but that's a whole nother topic. But the point I'm making is that it's never going to hurt you. It's never going to be the wrong move to decide I'm going to commit to doing something, regardless of if you go all the way to the end or not. But I'm going to commit to doing this and act as if you are fully committed every single day, because you actually are, for something that is fulfilling to you, of something that you want to accomplish, and taking action every day towards that. Because not only will you actually have an actual chance of achieving that, but you will build your character on the journey. Think of it like a video game, right? What happens in a video game? You level up a character and you get levels. And say the maximum level is 100, okay? You can start down this one journey. And the skills might not transfer if you go from journey A to journey B, right? The hard skills. But the soft skills, the things that are required to the mentalities, the identity, the habits, the things behind the scenes that are all required, the mental resilience, the toughness, all of that will transfer to any other pursuit. So taking action and doing something will always be the best move because of that. You will feel so much more whole within. You won't feel so fractured, so guilty, so discombobulated within, right? If you actually do this, because you will feel like you're executing on a mission. And I think that is one of the main reasons that societies and people get so down. It's one of the main causes, in my personal belief, of reasons people are just numb and sad and feel directionless, because they are. Because they're not taking action towards something fulfilling. They don't have any sort of mission in their life. And once you define that mission, And the funny thing is, having a passion and a mission are two different things. You can have a mission, say, serving the people around you, and your vehicle is your passion. It's something that you are passionate about. That's the vehicle. So they can be separate things. Your mission doesn't have to be that. Your mission doesn't have to be your passion. They can be separate. Hey, just real quick. A lot of guys watching this are fighting their urges in silence, thinking they just need more willpower. But that couldn't be further from the truth. And that's exactly why I created this free training. It walks you through the exact emotional shifts that help me stop chasing urges and start rewiring. If porno lust is a part of your struggle, I think it'll really help. Links below. It's time for you to decide that you are the only one that is going to change your life, that you are the only one that can get you to where you want to go. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to wake up and say that they are going to help you fix your life. Nobody else is going to do it. You are the single force of nature in your life that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. And once you realize that, it sounds scary. But it's so empowering too. Because once you finally decide to take full responsibility for your life over everything and stop having a victim mentality, you become limitless. You take back the steering wheel. You don't let the car drive you, you drive the car. You don't let yourself be pushed around from point A to point B to point C to wherever the hell life wants to push you. You might flow with life. Life might give you a direction and have you set within these parameters, and you can flow with that, but then you steer and guide it to where you want to go. And don't allow outside influence to give any sort of affliction towards you. You push that out. You say, I'm going this way. You become so much more grounded. If you stay where you are for 5 or 10 years, where are you going to be? I don't think people ask this enough. Where will you be in 5 to 10 years if you keep down this path that you are right now? Don't lie to yourself. Don't don't have that mentality that something will save you, that you're going to get better in a couple weeks or in a month or shortly. Realistically, if you repeated the last 2 weeks of your life for 5 to 10 years, let's say 5 years, right? If you repeated the last 2 weeks of your life for 5 years, where would you be? Will you be any closer to your goals? Will you be stronger? Will you be better than yesterday every day? Would you be in a good spot? Would you be where you want to be? All I'm saying is it's good to take inventory about that every now and then. Years can go by and zero progress can be made for years. That's the truth of the matter. That's the reality for 98% of people. You just do the thing, just carry on your way and do exactly as it's been set out for you. But then you don't get anywhere. You just live through life. Alive but not living. A zombie. Not really taking in life. Not really going anywhere. That's just disheartening to me. To just go through life with zero direction. To go through life without actually pursuing anything. I get you have things in the way. I get you have things that you need to do. But you gotta try to make time. You gotta try, right? If you don't try, there's zero hope. Discipline isn't just not doing things. Not doing certain things is great because there are things that are going to drag you down and hold you back and keep you from being who you want to be. But discipline is also about doing the right things. Arguably, more importantly, about doing the right things. You ever hear about signal to noise ratio, right? Basically, signal being the actual thing that needs to be done, and noise just being all the outside external distractions. There's just so much, especially in today's day and age, where there's so much information that is just flying around at lightning speeds everywhere, every 2 seconds, right? Everybody's posting things, everybody's saying things, there's just so much noise everywhere, right? And the signal is what truly matters. So you have what truly matters and everything else. And everything else is so sticky. It's easy to grab hold of you and pull you towards directions that won't help you. And you can have 95% signal and you can have 5% noise, right? The key is that you want to try to mostly lean into signal, into the things that actually matter. And sometimes noise, what seems to be noise, can be signal if done in a meaningful way. Sharing a sweet treat with someone that you care about every now and then, the sweet treat itself might seem like noise because it's not pulling you closer to your goals, but it's pulling you towards a goal of building relationship with someone that you care about. And relationships are rented. They need to be built continually. Most people avoid structure and discipline because they think it kills their freedom. But it's actually the exact opposite. Building structure and discipline in your life is what builds freedom. But it's long-term and it's not guaranteed. That's where people get stuck. People are, and I don't mean this in a hurtful way, but people are too afraid. Life, everything is a risk in life, whether you jump or don't, whether you go for something or don't. And some things, yeah, there's different levels of risk, but sometimes you need to bet on yourself. Calculated risks need to be done in order to be successful. Because without any risk, you don't get anywhere. You get the laid out for you set path that everybody else follows. It's actually kind of a good thing because nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is taking risk because it's risky. But you can mitigate that by knowing what you're doing. At least for the most part, right? There's always that shiny object syndrome of the thing that seems to be the next coolest thing. But it's just noise. Because I heard this quote once that you can, if you hit a tree 1,000 times with an axe in 1,000 different spots, that tree's going to be still standing. But if you hit it 1,000 times in one spot, that's how you get the tree down. You can't spread yourself too thin. Another example is how much you have only a certain amount of water in your watering can every day. And you can spread it across only a certain number of plants. If you spread yourself too thin, none of the plants get enough water and they all die. That is what happens when you give yourself over to too many distractions. You need to laser focus and decide what's most important for you. What is most important for you right now in your life? Figure that out. And then only give the water, your time, energy, and focus to those things. The way that you get to where you want to be, the way that you avoid all those distractions, the way that you lay your bricks every day isn't by some sheer willpower, some magic force. It's by doing something that you know you're called to do and having the systems in place to get you there. Motivation isn't going to get you all the way to your goals. It might help in short bursts. It's a 5-hour energy, right? You can't rely on it all the time. It's a helper. It's a supplement. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it can't be relied on. What gets you there, what gets you to your goals, are the systems in place that prevent the noise and keep the signal. Any tools that do that are excellent tools to get you to your goal. Example, having a blocker, an extension in your browser to block you from going to endless scrolling social media sites. Another example, uninstalling an app to keep you from randomly opening that app to scroll, right? Scrolling is pure distraction. It seems like scrolling has some use for it. You might have a moment of a little nugget of information. And that's what keeps you stuck on it because you think, well, maybe I'll actually learn something. That and it's entertaining, of course, but it's 99.9% noise. There are far more better ways to get that signal, to get the thing that will actually help you than scrolling, right? So having systems in place, blockers, things that will help you get to your reality that you want easier. Having, for example, not going to bed. If you want to go to the gym in the morning, right? You don't want to have your gym clothes put away in your dresser and have to choose which clothes to put on. And the more you reduce the friction, the less friction in your way between what you said you were going to do and being able to do that, the more you will actually take those actions. Hey, before you go, you made it this far, which means you're a part of the 1% that actually want to improve. So here's a free gift for you in case you want to break free from porn or lust. It's a 10-minute yin-yang training. It's straight to the point. It shows you how I actually overcame the urge loop without only relying on discipline. It's 100% free, and it's the first link in the description. I highly recommend starting there today if that's something that you'd like to stop.